right, I call this meeting of the Magnolia Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 5, Chapter 551. If everyone would please stand while Dasha does our invocation.
It has been a long-standing tradition that an MISD trustee starts our meetings with a prayer, and at this time, you are welcome to bow your head with me and pray. Dear Lord, as we meet today, come be with us. Guide our thoughts, ideas, and decisions. We ask that you continue to bless our Magnolia schools and community as we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all, those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Use our actions and words to be a light in a world that sometimes feels uncertain. We thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our school events, and for all our district staff members and students. We ask all of this in your name, Jesus, amen.
Amen. So at this time, and we doubled up, if anybody was here last month, you remember we had some really bad weather that was predicted. So we've doubled up on the Students of the Month. So we have 4 Students of the Month that'll be coming up here to do our pledges. At this time, I'd like to have those students, Sarah Ray Phillips of Magnolia Intermediate, Colton Cornell of Magnolia West High, Joshua Hull of Lyon Elementary, and Ken Krug, K-R-O-O-G, Krug. Close. Magnolia Parkway Elementary would come close. Ray and Colton will start us with the U.S. Pledge, followed by Joshua and Kian with the Texas Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right, if everybody be seated, and we are going to start with, I'd like to have the JL Lyon Elementary Principal, Aaron Spangenberg. Am I close? Y'all just test me on this stuff. That's not I'm a pharmacist. I can pronounce those kinds of drugs. Please come forward to present our Elementary Student of the Month, Joshua Hull. Yeah, you're fine.
Well, thank you, Dr. Stevens and board, for allowing us to present Joshua this evening. He's joined by his family, his sisters Charlie and Briley, and his mom and dad, and a lot of our Lyon family, our APs, Ms. Harper and Ms. Harless, Ms. Reitmer, our academic coordinator. 2 of his teachers are here, Ms. Marcantel and Ms. Ryan, and actually his 2nd grade teacher is here, Ms. Hargrave. So he really left an impression on her for her to come all the way out tonight for this board meeting. Josh is one of the most hardworking and kind students that you will ever meet. He gives 110% in everything that he does. This is especially evident when he comes in from recess and he is soaking wet like he just got out of the shower. I think that's where he gives his most effort, is at recess. Josh is also a member of our choir, so he's performed at the high school basketball game and also at the tree lighting ceremony in Magnolia. You can really see Josh's kind heart as he completes his safety patrol duties. He's so sweet to our younger students as he gets them in and out of the car in the morning. You'll also see his kind nature when he walks out each evening with his sister at the end of the day, but I think she is actually the boss in that situation. When we asked Josh about what he wants to be when he grows up, he said he wants to be a professional athlete. As you can tell, this is what he looks like every day in this attire. He loves baseball, football, and basketball. And I asked him about college. He said he wasn't sure, so I very kindly suggested Texas A&M. His teachers also have great things to say about him. Ms. Marcantel and Ms. Ryan and Ms. Flores. They describe him as kind, respectful, hardworking student. He's a gem to teach. Even his 2nd grade teacher, Ms. Hargrave, says he has the kindest and caring heart. A kid that never gives up and gets along with everyone. And that is true. Ms. Roden said that Joshua's character says so much about him and his family. He always has a positive and caring attitude. No matter the task, he never gets discouraged. Instead, he does what is asked and does it positively. Joshua loves his family and baseball. His energy and spirit shine out on the field, which I actually had an opportunity to see. His smile is infectious no matter where he is. So it's easy to see why we chose Josh as our Lions Student of the Month, and we can't wait to watch you grow and succeed in your future years in Magnolia. Congratulations.
All right, now I would like to have Megan Baker from Magnolia Parkway Elementary come forward and present our second grade elementary student of the month, Kian Krug.
Thank you, Dr. Stevens and board, for always providing time to celebrate our students. We're honored to celebrate the Magnolia Parkway Student of the Month, Kian Krug. Kian is a fourth grader that joined us his third grade year. He is surrounded this evening by some of his biggest fans: his mom and dad, Elisa and Kevin, grandma and grandpa, Edwina and Irvin Weehot, his uncle Scooter, and friends of the family, Mona and Caden Johnston. We also have some of our teachers from Magnolia Parkway, our assistant principal, Sarah Bellini, our counselor, Elisa Krug, our fourth grade teachers, Miss Llewellyn, Miss Paskett, and Miss Douglas, our PE teacher, one of our PE teachers, Miss Walker, and his third grade teacher, Mrs. McKenzie. When thinking about Kian, a quote from Zig Ziglar immediately comes to mind: "You never know when a helping hand will change another person's life." There is not a day that goes by that Kian is not seen lending a helping hand to others. It is truly just who he is as a person. He never expects praise nor recognition for these kind acts. In fact, I'm not sure he can fully comprehend how his helpful heart and hands have changed the lives of others within our Magnolia Parkway community. When it was announced that Kian was selected as the Student of the Month, emails quickly came in, example after example of the positive impact he has on others. One example that I feel exemplifies what Kian stands for is his unwavering compassion to a fellow fourth grade student that is visually impaired. It is typical to see Kian assisting the student, often on the bus, in the cafeteria, at recess, and at events such as Field Day. For Valentine's Day, Kian even researched and taught himself how to braille. He brailled a handmade, makes me teary-eyed. He brailled a handmade name tag with the student's name and taped a piece of candy to it. He wanted the student to have something that day that he could read independently, just like the others. When I asked this student about Kian, his response was priceless. He simply stated, "Kian is one of my favorite people." We couldn't agree more. Kian is in the Advanced Academics REACH program, an active member of the Student Council, a leader of the MPES News Crew, and a member of the gardening and art clubs. Kian loves learning about Texas history in his fourth grade social studies class and has extended his learning by going on a tour of Texas with his parents. Some of the sites he has visited include the Alamo, Washington on the Brazos, the Texas State Capitol, historic Austin County, Gonzales, and his favorite, Goliad. I would have to say this is relevance at its best. So, rigor and relevance, Kian gets his points for that. Kian loves being outdoors, playing disc golf, fishing, and hunting. He plans to attend Sam Houston State University, eat 'em up, cats, and aspires to be a Texas game warden. We have no doubt that Kian will continue to lead with a kind heart and helping hands. We look forward to watching him grow in Magnolia ISD. Thank you for being you, Kian. Congratulations.
All right, now I would like to have Magnolia Intermediate Principal Lisa Bertrand come forward and present our Intermediate Student of the Month, Ray Phillips.
Thank you, members of the board, Dr. Stevens. I'm shorter than Maggie. Magnolia Intermediate is honored to present Sarah Phillips, otherwise known as Ray, as the Student of the Month. Sarah is accompanied by her father, William Phillips, and her mother, Chelsea Farmer. Sixth grade is a new phase in students' lives as they begin to understand their actions have both personal and overreaching effects on others. With that in mind, we encourage students to have strong character and a commitment to their education. Sarah embraces these ideas. Sarah dedicates herself every day to her education and in the future plans to become a therapist for young adults. This plan varies a little from her dreams when she was younger. She had dreams of being a famous actress, but then as she got older, she thought perhaps not. However, her love of theater has not ebbed. She belongs to a production group, Stagecraft Studios, which puts on productions throughout the year. Sarah stands out at MIS by her kindness to others and her taking school seriously, but not taking herself over seriously. She is always compassionate to others. Educationally, Sarah is a strong student with a love of history. She believes it's important to learn about the past and to use that knowledge to make the future better. Looking forward to the future, Sarah shared that she plans to continue in theater and looks forward to taking advanced courses offering at the high school level. With us tonight, we have Mr. Gassaway, Ms. Marshall, Mr. Coulter, Ms. Golden, Mr. Voss, and Ms. Callahan. And they had wonderful things. Oh, and Mr. Hessline, you snuck in on me. They had lovely things to say about her. Sarah is a shining star in the eyes of her teacher. Ms. Callahan stated Sarah is a compassionate person who treats everyone with respect, both peers and teachers. Mrs. Marshall said she is a ray of sunshine, and hence her nickname. Mr. Hessline and Mr. Voss shared so many wonderful things that it'd take 10 minutes for me to go through them all. As you can see, Sarah is an easy choice for Student of the Month, but it is her kindness that truly sets her apart. When asked what she likes to do in her spare time, she mentioned, of course, her theater group and volleyball. But what really stands out to me is Sarah is wiser than most sixth graders. Some would even call her an old soul. You look in Sarah's eyes and you see depth and maturity beyond her years. And that is why MIS is proud to call Sarah, AKA Ray, our Student of the Month.
All right, last but not least, I would like to have Magnolia West High School Principal Jason Morley come forward and present our secondary Student of the Month, Colton Cornell.
Thank you, Dr. Stevens and board, for allowing us the opportunity to be here. We had our top 10% reveal last week, which Colton was a part of, and I got caught up in saying this is a culmination of 4 years of hard work. But that's not true. It goes beyond that. I was talking to Colton this evening. He is an alum of Magnolia Elementary School. He is also an alum of Magnolia Junior High. So I thought it was kind of cool. Sometimes our elementary teachers don't see where our kids transition to and end up. And I think you're going to be very pleased. So I'm pleased to introduce to you the Magnolia West High School Student of the Month, Senior Colton Cornell. Colton is the son of Amy and Cliff Cornell. Cliff is here, over here on the side. Colton is a member of the Magnolia West National Honor Society, the treasurer of Mu Alpha Theta, our Math Honor Society, and the captain of the UIL Number Sense team. As you can tell, Colton excels in leadership roles. Colton also excels academically, graduating this year summa cum laude, ranked number 8 in his class of 481 students. He is graduating with a STEM endorsement and has earned the AP Scholar with Honors distinction. Colton is also a varsity athlete playing football for the Mustangs. This year, he earned the THSCA Academic All-State Elite Team Award. The requirements being the candidate must be an athlete in good standing, be of good moral character, a senior, and have an overall grade point average of 92. But to make it to the elite team, you also must demonstrate a near perfect score on either the ACT or the SAT. So Colton did that as well. Only 1% of all high school athletes earn that distinction. Colton is also very active in his community, earning the distinction of Eagle Scout. He has several hundred hours of community service and works in the afternoons for the MISD Adventures program. Colton has high hopes for his education after Magnolia West. He's been accepted into the Texas A&M Engineering College and West Point Academy. However, he is going to leave both of those schools at the altar. He has ultimately decided to attend the Air Force Academy, pursuing a computer science major.
Wow.
Magnolia West is proud to present to you our Student of the Month, Colton Cornell. Colton, thank you for all you've done for Magnolia ISD. Thank you for all you're going to continue to do, and God bless your service.
Awesome accomplishment. We look forward to seeing you guys back up here. I hope you will. We're excited. So thank you. It's the best part.
Just wasn't
And we got one more fun part coming.
wasn't the same last week.
No, it wasn't without our students. All right, next up we have Dr. Garza.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce our April Teacher of the Month, Mrs. Tracy Mentalewski from Magnolia High School. Tracy is joined tonight by her three daughters, daughter Callie, who's 7, Riley, who's 11, Jamie, who's 12, and her husband, Rusty. Tracy has been a graduate of Texas State University. She's been with MISD for 17 years, and this is her only job she's ever had, the only one she will have. She is a fantastic department chair for us. She teaches AP and IB classes. I know Mr. Quinn, raised by her leadership, and just today, you'll be excited to know, Ms. Wood, our social stage director, was commenting how much good things you have planned for next year. So thank you so much for your service to us. Great.
So Dr. Garza stole a little bit of the thunder, but Tracy is our social studies department chair. She's an amazing teacher, but I think maybe one of the most special things that she does, guys, she's the department chair of 17 teachers, including herself, and half of them are high school coaches. And she manages those men, and they do not buck her whatsoever. Add to that, Mr. Braun is her department appraiser, so it goes from bad to worse, and she still comes to work every single day with that smile on her face. We would not be what we are, right? She epitomizes love, serving, care because she is always doing those things, not only for her teachers, but especially for her kids. She holds us accountable for making sure that we're providing for her and her teachers what they need in order to be successful, and we're very thankful that she is a part of us. I want to mention that some of our leadership team is here tonight. Mr. Parsons is proudly taking pictures, right? Mr. Braun and Mr. Gossett are both here as well, and so we thank them for them being here tonight and supporting her. Tracy, we love you, and thank you.
I think that everybody who is meant to be a teacher, they are meant to teach a particular level, and secondary is my level. The nature of the curriculum provides the opportunity for them to think a little bit more deeper on historical events and then being able to connect these historical events to what's going on today. I said, what I need y'all to do, you can work with a partner, and I'm going to give you the list of prompts that would have been on your test. Choose one, and you're going to create a response. I need a product. I had a podcast that was done. I had a couple of videos. One was a slideshow type of video. I had a Minecraft video, and then I had this big newspaper. Like, I was completely blown away. And that's what's fun about the IB curriculum, is that you have a little bit more freedom and you can give the kids that space to work. And the fact that they took this space and they ran with it was really kind of cool. Sometimes it's funny, you don't know that the connections were made until they leave. So I had a student who asked me to write a recommendation letter. She said that it was my IB History of the Americas class that influenced her to go into law, and she didn't know how interested she was in politics until we went through some of the stuff in the course. Are you sure it's me? Because there's other people that I would volunteer all the time. So it's because of that is a huge honor. We have some really great teachers in our building here and across the district, and it is an honorable profession and proud to be part of it.
All right, we got some special gifts.
Good evening. My name is Stacia Norris, and I say this every month, but we have the best educators in Magnolia, and it's just so fun to stand up here every month and honor the best of the best. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for choosing education. Thank you for choosing Magnolia. I am on the behalf of MEF, Chick-fil-A, Cane's Chicken, Gringos, Healing Key Spa, and HEB, thrilled to award you with our Teacher of the Month.
Congratulations. That's awesome. First job and still here, so really appreciate that. And with coaches, I don't know. I know, Coach Byrne, I'm not going to say a lot about that, but you got to admit that's like herding cats. So I'm impressed. You did a great job, and thank you to all of the sponsors of the Teacher of the Month Award. We really appreciate that. I know the teacher appreciates that. It's unfortunate that not everyone in our community appreciates public education, but you guys do, and you take heat for it, and I appreciate you being willing to take that heat to do the right thing. So thank you for that. That's the end of our recognitions. Last month we were going to do Magnolia West boys and girls basketball. We couldn't do that tonight because there's a big track meet going on, if I'm correct, Coach? Yes, through Wednesday or something. Tonight through Wednesday. So a lot of those kiddos are dual athletes, so they wouldn't be able to be here. So we will reschedule that when we can get all of them. We do give a break right now so that everybody can leave if you'd like to. I'll tell you the rest of the meeting kind of goes downhill from here. Everybody up here will agree with me when we say that our favorite part we just did. So it's the recognition of our students and our teachers that make our job what it is. So it goes downhill, and we don't have any public speakers tonight, so I can't even promise you a fun time on that. So we're kind of without much to offer. So at this point, we'll take a 5-minute break. Everybody's welcome that wants to leave to leave. And I want to give compliments on the floral arrangements. Is Magnolia High School Advanced Floral Design. So these have kind of been our get out of jail free cards with our spouses lately. We take those home. So all right. Ms. Hinkleman, do we have anyone signed up to speak? Okay. I don't have to read that next section, so we're out of that. So I get to be up next, the President's Report. In accordance with Chapter 61 of the Texas Administrative Code, I am required to announce out loud that the board members have met, exceeded, or are deficient in their required continuing education. Continuing education for each year of service is a basic obligation and an expectation of any sitting board member. As a new board member, he or she is required to meet 25 hours of continuing education. Experienced board members are required to meet 15 hours each year thereafter. I am pleased to announce that Christy Baker, Joe Duncan, Dr. Travis Moffitt, Gary Blizzard, Sonia Ebel, Dasha Owens, and I, Chuck Adcox, have met or have exceeded all required hours of school board continuing education training from April 13, 21. Oh, you made a mistake. All right. April 13, 2021 through April 8 of 2022. We're educated. All right. Moving on to our consent agenda, this portion of the agenda consists of items to be routine and will be enacted by one motion unless separate discussion is requested. If there aren't any questions, then I am in need of a motion that the board approve consent agenda items A through E. Does anybody have any questions? Motion by Joe Duncan, seconded by Gary Blizzard. All in favor? Motion carries. All right, next up is the considered agenda, and on that agenda is our presenter, Ms. Leslie Scotty.
All right, good evening, Board of Trustees, ladies and gentlemen. I have before you tonight a delinquent tax collection report. It's our spring report, so please know while we're going through this report, these are delinquent taxes only. The tax office does a great job and collects about 95% of the district's levy before they even go delinquent. So once they become delinquent, they send out a lovely 3307 letter that lets the taxpayer know that a collection penalty will attach to the property if it is unpaid by July. And that collection penalty is how we get paid for the services we're providing to the school district. So the school district pays nothing, so it's through our collection efforts that we get paid, and that is passed along to the taxpayer. They are duly notified, and then once we collect, we get paid from that amount. Proceeding through the collection report, the first chart I have is the snapshot of your roll. This is the accounts by status. You'll see where the entire delinquent roll is in the collection process, all delinquent tax years on this chart, and it helps me to direct my staff in what's most readily collectible. So you'll notice the largest section is the action pending section at 31%. So most of these accounts are 2020 delinquencies that were turned over to us last July. So we've been working for them not quite an entire year. So we're still in the process of trying to get somebody's attention. On most of these, we've made some kind of contact with the taxpayer, either got them into a payment agreement, or we're at the point where we realize we've failed to get them into a payment agreement. And so we're doing the research, we're ascertaining if there's a lien holder on the property, also contacting them to see if they would like to step into the shoes of the taxpayer, pay the taxes, and then roll that amount into whatever type of note that they have. And currently in the process of getting these set up for suit should those actions fail. The next largest section is the deferral section. Actually, I got that backwards. The deferral section was actually the largest section and action pending the second. So the deferral section is at 36%, and these are taxpayers who have elected to defer payment of their taxes on their residence homestead. And to do this, they must be either over 65 or be able to apply for disability benefits. They must elect this deferment at the county appraisal district. And once the appraisal district approves the deferment, then we have to stop our collection efforts. For example, if I have the account in a lawsuit already, we have to cease and desist, and we usually just ask the court to dismiss the case. On the off chance, we have asked the court to appoint an attorney ad litem to represent any individuals who are deceased or we're unable to find. We will ask the court to retain the case until the deferral status is removed in hopes of getting that third-party attorney ad litem paid for their efforts in finding the missing person. It's really not. You're saying we're retaining the suits to sell it later on. Typically not. Typically, whenever the heirs of the person that had the deferral, when they pass on or move, they go to a title company to sell the property, and then they pick up on our suit, and then those costs of the case get satisfied that way is what typically happens. We don't typically pick up on those after 20 years of it being abated and move on to a sale. It's usually caught somewhere by a title company when they're looking to sell the property. So That's what typically happens, and if we dismiss the suit, then that attorney ad litem never gets paid, and the district clerk never gets their fee, and so on and so forth. So let's see. Since I've botched the order of things, the next largest section is the litigation section. So when our letters, our phone calls, calling the lien holder is not fruitful, sometimes it's necessary for us to file a delinquent tax suit. Some of the suits were merely seeking personal liability. If it's personal property and the property is no longer in the county, we can't find it to seize it. Or it could be for foreclosure if it is land. Typically, 70% of these things get paid. Usually when the taxpayer gets served with a suit, they realize the seriousness of the situation. They have us on the phone later that same day after they've been served by the constable, trying to get themselves in a payment agreement. And we work very hard to assure that the taxpayers maintain their property and maintain their interest in the property within the realm of what we can do in the tax code. Next largest section is the bad address section. These are taxpayers who have not maintained a good address with the county appraisal district. So, as you know, the appraisal district assesses value. They put the accounts on the roll with the name and the address of the property owner. The tax office, when the appraisal district certifies the roll, picks up that information, gathers the tax rates from the taxing jurisdictions, and assesses the taxes and mails out the bills, so the address stays the same as it was at the appraisal level. So we look at returned mail all year long from the tax office, mail that we've sent. We continually try to reach out and touch the taxpayer, find a better address, update our system, find some kind of effective way to let the taxpayer know of the situation. Next chart is our dollar range chart. So this just gives me an idea where the dollars are owed and how to direct my staff. Note the 10,000 and up section. The vast majority of these accounts are in a deferral status and have been for some years, with the exception of a few accounts that are in some stage of litigation. And then there's one, I had to do a drive-by. It's on an early turnover this year. I couldn't find it. And so I finally reached out and got a hold of the company and talked to an accounting firm that they use, and it's a bad assessment. So part of the 2020 assessment is legitimately on the roll, but overvalued, they're stating. And they are saying that they weren't there 2021 at all, which I tend to believe, since I went driving around looking for it and couldn't find it. So I assisted them in who they needed to talk to at the appraisal district to file properly for a correction on that account. So our third chart we have is the tax year chart. You'll see 2020 is the largest section. That's the one we're currently working to get a hold of somebody. We started working on those last July, and you'll see after 2020 the segments get smaller and smaller. I am on the right chart, all right. So 2013 and prior, actually very small amounts due for each of those years. And some of the reasons for those older years, they're mostly going to be your over 65 deferrals, where the deferral status has been on the account for many years. Some of those older tax years are also going to be due to bad addresses. If we can't find the taxpayer, they're no longer around, they're out of sight, out of mind, moved off to another state or whatnot. It does happen from time to time, and we eventually get those all in litigation. Next 6 charts we have are our historical collection data, starting with 2015. You'll notice we're at 95% collected for 2015, and I will just kind of let you browse through those. 16 were 92. Kind of like to see the trend. 88% collected for 17. For 18, we're 86% collected, and for 2020, which I like to spend a little time on, we are at, 19. I'm gonna skip a whole tax year. 80% collected, and for 2020, we are 66.38, where we've collected over half of what was turned over to us last July. So we're in a good place there to continue along with those collections. On March 1st, we had our first online tax sale for Montgomery County. It seemed to go over successfully. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can check out my website, pbfcm.com, and the company that the county has contracted with to do those online tax sales is called a Real Auction. And there is a link, if you want to Google Real Auction Montgomery County tax sales, there is a link on the Real Auction website where you can look at a little Q&A, you can pre-register or find out what it takes or what happens if you're curious. We're still currently having monthly tax dockets in the 284th District Court, and we're looking at doing our next tax sale in June. And that's all I got. Is there any questions for me tonight?
I would just say you've done such a great job for us for so many years on this thing, and so I would ask you: is there any successes or challenges in this report that stick out in your mind, or is it more of a routine report for you? What's your feeling about it?
I know about a year ago I mentioned a personal property delinquency that is on the 10,000 and above, and we filed suit. We were able to get some payments out of them. Things were looking up, and they're still open. I've been watching them. They're still open. They have equipment, and we are about to apply for a tax warrant this week. So peculiar challenges is I'll be serving a tax warrant on them. So with a tax warrant for personal property or minerals, what we have authority to do under the tax code is once we apply for the warrant, we have an affidavit from the assessor collector, we put it in front of the district court, and if they approve it, we have an order that allows us to seize as much of the personal property of that business that we think would satisfy the taxes. So it's a very powerful tool. It usually generates payments.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
Any other questions from anybody? I do know, and I think you stated it, I just want to make sure everybody understands that the fees associated with your company are paid for by the delinquent taxpayer, that it does not cost our school district anything. We collect you collect for us what is due to us, and they pay you for having to do it.
Absolutely, and I only get paid if I'm doing the work. So it's really a beautiful process. It doesn't cost the school a thing, and I only get as much as the effort I put in, so it's very motivating.
And it really doesn't involve our delinquent tax part, but I know there's been some changes in some of the tax processes around the state of Texas, and particularly notably that the appraisals are pretty high this year across the state. And I do know that Montgomery County Appraisal are holding hearings in the county to take everybody through the appraisal process and how those values are derived. And I know they're going to be having one over here, and we'll try to have one in every part of the county, and I think ours is coming up here another week or so. So we may want to get some of that out on the time frames of that, because I know a lot of people are, how are these values skyrocketing so much across the state of Texas. And I guess in the same vein, we do have two constitutional amendments that is coming up in the May ballot that are both targeting tax-related issues, and one that will raise the homestead value up to $40,000 if it's approved, and the other one is so that we can unfreeze the taxes for those over 65 that were frozen, to take advantage of the tax reductions that we've had in our school districts as those taxes have been compressed for the last, it'll be 3 years this year, and those over 65 have not benefited from those compressions, because by statute their taxes have been frozen. So those are the two constitutional amendments, and not our job to advocate them, but they will help our senior citizens and help our taxpayers, and is really not a negative effect in any of that for our school district. And so, but anyway, back to the relevance here. thanks to Purdue Brandon for all that you guys do. Not only do you a great job of helping us collect those difficult taxes and some of the issues and represent us in the courtroom or wherever it may be, but you guys are also a great advocate for the district, and you show up. You're not just simply, we're not just a client. We're somebody who we're friends, and we were able to, you guys come in and put back into the district. So thank you all so much for your support and the great work you do to get us to where we are in our collections.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stevens. I appreciate that. The district means a lot to us, and it means a lot for me to have your time and your audience and to come talk about delinquent taxes. I do sincerely appreciate that and let y'all know what's going on.
Great. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Have a
ma'am.
good evening. Yes. We'll see you in the fall, not sooner. Or not on Thursday.
All right. There was no action needed on that. That was a report. So the board will now recess to move into closed executive session for the purpose permitted by pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, consultation with attorney, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.072, discussion of purchase, sale, exchange of value of real property, and pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, personnel discussions/recommendations.
So you tell everybody that's sitting by the first 7 rows can go home? Everybody that's farther back and 7 rows has to stay till...
I'll tell you what, I worked for a big corporation, and our new CEO came in, and, I'm a firm believer in I can be saved at the back of the church just as easily as I can be saved at the front, right? So if you see me at church, I'm a back row. And he saw real quick there were all these rows, and so the very first time, the second time he came in, under the first 3 or 4 rows under every chair, he put a $50 gift card. And he didn't have to give a one away. And then he told everybody, and from then on, it was full at the front. And there were never any more gift cards. I don't know. I think it was a setup personally. But I don't blame you guys. I'd be back there too with you. So anyway, y'all are free to go. All right, I need a motion that we adjourn this meeting. Motion by Christie, seconded by Sonia. All in favor? Meeting is adjourned, 8:57.